This is all about synchronicity. Everything. Everything is about synchronicity. It's everything. Because if you're experiencing synchronicity, if we are experiencing synchronicity, then it means that we are in the divine flow. And the thing is that synchronicity and synchronistic flow exists all around us. But the question is, are we tapped into the flow or not? That is the question. And so for many years, I wondered, does this sign mean something? How do I get this thing that I want? And the answer is just synchronicity, I think. I know it is. Synchronicity is what my entire life has been about. When it really all comes down to it, it's synchronicity. Which is very closely linked to perception and creativity. Because if you expand your synchronicity and creativity, if we expand our perception and our creativity, then we are far more likely to experience synchronicity, because synchronicity requires an enhanced perception of life. And that feels like a fact to me these days. It's hard to know what's fact and what is fiction, but a lot of people are asleep to, and luckily a lot more people are waking up to the power of synchronicity. But a lot of people are asleep to magic because, to me, magic in essence is synchronicity. Magic can be many things. It can be ritualistic, it can be cultural, it can be, dare I say, religious, but I'm not going to get into religion because I'm not religious. So that was just like a message that was coming through as a channeled message. This all is. But for me, synchronicity has just like been the lifeblood of existence. It is the most joyous thing I can really think of. And the thing is that when we start to understand synchronicity, and not even on like a deep like intellectual level, like when I say understanding, I feel like I automatically associate it to like only the mind, but it's not. Understanding is a full body experience. So understanding synchronicity is really about knowing like that we are in the flow. Because life on earth is cyclical. We know this because most, if not all, beings I mean, there's so many different types of beings on earth, but many beings, not all of them, but many beings come to exist here through cycles, this flow of cycles. The menstrual cycle, specifically. But also, we all experience the cycle of life. We're born and then we die. And so, to some extent, we are default in synchronistic flow. At default, by default, I mean, we are in flow with that rule, right? Like, that is a rule of Earth. That's why some beings are so obsessed with immortality, because they want to feel that they are more powerful than the rules of Earth. But the rules of Earth is that you come to Earth and you are born, for many of us, out of a womb, and then you live your life cycle, which maybe contains or does contain many cycles within it. But you live your life cycle and then you die. Your spirit, if this is what you believe, or your spirit leaves your physical body and goes back to the light, aka the sun, or source. But even if you don't believe that, it is still true that we die. So that is the default flow pattern of life. And I think to enhance our experience of life, synchronicity is one of the most magical ways to do that. And not only that, but it allows us to be in the flow. Like, for so long, I tried to deeply intellectualize synchronicity. Like, I would constantly be like, what does this synchronicity mean? What does this sign mean? And yeah, sometimes they mean stuff, but they don't always mean stuff. But not really. I mean, they always mean the one core main thing, which means that if you are perceiving synchronicities and signs, you are tapped into the divine. That rhymed. And I didn't even plan it. Every time I say it, I didn't even plan it. I think planet, like Planet. Anyway, that's the sign. Like I spent so many years overcomplicating it, when really the entire time the signs and synchronicities were just telling me that I was in line. And you know what happened every single time? Oh my gosh, I'm realizing this now as a download, and it will resonate for some people. Every single time, this makes sense. It makes so much sense now why it has been so hard for me to manifest for so long. My mind is being blown right now. Hold on, I'm gonna get there. The reason, actually, I'm hearing, this is a download for me and probably someone else because I'm recording it, so it must be for someone else also. The reason that it has taken me so long to manifest and I have faced so many trials, I mean, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons is because every time I experienced synchronicity, I tried to deeply intellectualize it and understand what it meant, which is not necessarily like a bad thing objectively, but I have learned through many therapy sessions that my tendency to over-intellectualize things can sometimes be problematic for me. And it's hard not to be because, society disconnects our mind from our body. And so sometimes I feel like it's been my way of trying to connect those things for me, connect all the parts of my body that I felt were scattered through multiple universes. I was going to say universi. Ooh, like multiple universes. Universi. That's cool. When I said that I saw this like huge eye, that was cool. Um, I completely forget what tangent I was on. Um, but that's the message that I'm receiving right now. Wow. Maybe someone else out there resonates with this too. Uh, but I think the reason that I kept falling out of the flow over and over and over again was because I kept trying to intellectualize it instead of just observe it. Because I think when you just like, when we just observe the flow, that's more embodied. I mean, sometimes there's messages in the signs, for sure. And when that happens, it's so magical. But there doesn't always have to be. And that is why discernment is so important. But that is also why light work, practicing light work, is such an amazing tool. I think in the way that I have learned it, like as I'm saying, the way that I teach it, because I'm gonna teach people about it, which I don't know, still feels weird for me to say because it's not really, to me, it's not really teaching so much. Like I'm sure, I guess people learn, but for me, it's more like being a vessel for the light. That's really what it's about. Because when we're perceiving synchronicity, we are actively being a vessel for the light. Because to be in synchronistic flow is to be going with the flow of the earth around the source light force, which is the sun. And that is why, just like going along the wave here, but that is why the earth, not the earth, the experience on earth is so messed up right now. Because people aren't going with the flow. All of the systems and structures that have been put in place by people who wanted to be more power than the grand flow of the universe has caused us to all be completely out of alignment, out of line with nature and light itself, at life itself. But that's also the joy and beauty of coming to Earth, is that we get to relearn that, which is really cool, actually. And so the way that I learned how to perceive more synchronicity, I mean, I think I've always been like that, to be honest, as a sensitive child. But it increased even tenfold when I started making art with literal light as my subject in photography. So that became a skill set. But it wasn't just about the photos I was taking or the things that I was observing. It was about the way that light, like, communicated with me when I was photographing. Oh, wow, I'm having another download. This is wild and amazing. Thank you for witnessing. But it's probably going to be a download for you too. What was it? When you have like such finite downloads of light codes that you just like are like, what was that? I might have lost it. And if so, that's fine. It'll come back when it's ready. Actually, it'll probably come back when I watch this video, and then maybe I'll make the next video that was about the thing that I was going to say that I just forgot. Probably because I've already said enough in this video. It's a pretty hefty one. So yeah, I was just thinking that when I was sitting here doing some what am I doing right now? Embodiment practices. I don't know. I'm just moving the energy through my body because my body is very tight right now. It's always been tight. And I'm ready for the light to fill every cell of my being so that I feel floaty. I mean, but grounded. I want to feel my grounded feet on the ground and have my light body expand. Ooh. Yeah, we're just getting started here. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna watch this probably sometime soon, and then I'll make that other video. Okay, bye. This is awkward. Bye.